have Rob Renfro from Coastline Home Inspections here today, and he's going to help us answer some questions about what to expect from a home inspection. Thanks for being here,
Thank you.
Rob.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, what can a seller do to prepare for a successful inspection?
It's way more invasive than you think it's going to be in your home. There's, I need access to the electrical panel, the furnace, the water heater. Gates need to be unlocked. Pets need to be secured. All these things, because I'm going to be throughout the whole house. All the attic accesses need to be accessible. Oftentimes people think the garage attic connects to the attic that's upstairs. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I need access to those areas. So there's going to be a lot of areas that need to be accessible.
I remember a time that we did an inspection together. I think it was us, and there was like somebody sleeping in one of the rooms, and they're like, "You can't go into that room," and you're like,
"People should be up." Awake is good. Is good start.
Yeah. So, what should buyers expect from an inspection?
There's going to be a lot of information. With a buyer, I always try to take into account that this is likely not their first home they've looked at. They have probably looked at many homes, and you have shown them many homes, and they've made many offers. And I try really hard to bear that in mind when I show up, to not break their heart too quickly. Right? Because there's going to be things.
Yeah. And
expect there to be things. And one of my first things I say to people, we're going to find, and I look around the house, I'll say 30, I'll say 100. Depends on what I think that house is going to have. I will say, hey, look, let's just start with 50 things. Just know we're going to find those things and be okay with those things. And 2 of those things are going to matter. So I think just come with the expectation that no house is perfect. And, don't let the amount of items pile up scare you away too quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It almost becomes like a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's easy to fix. Okay, so that might be something that we need to be a little bit more concerned about. But what I like about working with you is that we kind of like team up on that. And we see that all the time, not a big deal kind of thing. So
and one of my lines I tell people all the time is I tell them, if you don't like the 50 things here, you're not going to like the 50 next door.
Yeah.
Because we're going to find 50 next door.
Things.
There are going to be a couple different things, but there's going to be things.
Yeah.
So if you like the house and the neighborhood and your heart's set on this, then don't let some of these things, be prepared to find things.
Yeah.
Right?
If you don't find something, that can be a little
disheartening.
Yeah.
Concerning. It can be such a scary thing to go into. Oh my gosh, what are they going to find? And I love trying to help them to ease that stress a little bit, right? Because I know there's some that make it really stressful and add to that stress. I'm like, I'm just there to just tell you what I see and let you know that it's okay. There's going to be things, but everything's fixable.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time. Can we do this? Sure. Money. Whatever you want to do.
What are some of the most common issues that arise in an inspection?
Start with one that's always there: rodent activity.
Okay.
Right? Every house, and that freaks people out, but that's just so common to see rodent activity. Fallen heat ducts or ducts in the attic. The bathroom exhaust ducts. Electrical issues. People think they're electricians. It's interesting because they're not. Electrical issues. GFCI protection in the areas that are required. There's always oftentimes roofing issues, a lot of times minor issues. And can I tell one little story that it's so common, in January when we had a week of just monsoon rain, I didn't care the age of the house. If I did 10 or 12 houses that week, 7 or 8 or 9 of those roofs were leaking. And people just don't know. And if you're inspecting that house in August, you don't see that house. You don't see that leak. But it's more common than people think roof leaks are, and it just doesn't get into the house. It just gets absorbed in the insulation, and no one knows it's happening. But discoloration in the attics, right? Sheathing. There's always some kind of growth on the underside of roof sheathing.
So how can real estate agents be good partners to inspectors?
For me personally, is communication. I think that I try really hard to get back as soon as I get a text. I try to communicate and keep those lines of communication open. The The most difficult thing I find is people will hold spots or think they're making an offer, they're not sure yet, and then it's in my mind, I have that listing on my desk, I'm holding these spots for other people, and then nothing. I don't hear anything. And then I find myself having to go back to follow up to check in. Hey, are you still, oh no, we decided not to buy that. Okay, I'm holding that spot. So that would be, and I'm sure that's true because you guys have a lot of different vendors that you are tying into a transaction. And I think, as you know, they all are part of that. And to know as soon as possible the status of something. So just communication, I think.